Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance, to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard, bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now.
So if I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
We got to talk about the best wrestling that we watched all week. You're up.
I think Brunson Reed and Braun Strowman put on a 5-star match in 60 seconds. I've never seen it happen before. Brunson Reed chunks the fan at Braun. I'm like, where the hell did that dude come from?
I got a tweet saying it's a good thing they're not in Memphis, or else that would have been one of the Memphis wrestling guys getting hurled.
Exactly.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right, I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio, FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle's right there producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you're ready for preseason basketball, because we got it tonight for the first time this year inside FedEx Forum. It's Grizz-Hornets, 7 o'clock tip. Ja Morant is not expected to play. He's been diagnosed with a mild sprain of his ankle. We'll talk about it momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. In the next segment around 10:20, really looking forward to this. Paris London, Memphis high school basketball legend, is going to join me in studio in advance of next week's Hoops for St. Jude Tip-Off Classic, because when I was trying to think who in this city connects basketball and St. Jude best, it might be Paris London, because he's obviously one of the most celebrated high school basketball players who has ever spent time in the city of Memphis, but he is also the father of Nicholas London, who as a teenager was a St. Jude patient, doing well these days. But who better to talk about the impact of St. Jude and basketball in this city than Paris London? I can't think of anybody. He's going to be in studio with me. We'll do that in about 20 minutes. When I finish talking to Paris, going to take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we will discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, the New York Mets advanced to the NLCS for the first time in 9 years with a 4-1 win over the Phillies last night. Francisco Lindor was the hero. Next up, 7-game series against either the Dodgers or the Padres. We'll celebrate together in about 40 minutes. Meantime, the American League playoffs are also unfolding. The Tigers and Yankees have closeout games today. Detroit's at home. Yankees remain on the road after beating the Royals last night in front of, among others, Patrick Mahomes. We'll talk AL playoffs. We'll do that in just a bit. South Carolina inmate who has been sentenced to death is set to die next week. And I was reading about this. He gets to pick the way he gets to die. It's up to him. He has 3 options. So I'll run you through all 3 options, and then we'll make Bennett pick. his preferable way to die if he were sentenced to death in South Carolina. That sounds like a fun way to spend a Thursday. We'll do that in the third segment. Former NFL lineman Jason Kelce, you know, Travis's brother, has proposed a big change to the way football should be played at the professional level. I'll tell you what he suggested in the second hour. And Hurricane Milton has made landfall in Florida. Millions are without power. The Tampa Bay Rays Stadium is not doing so great. We'll get you updated on that situation during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we will eventually do GP's carry out, and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to, but I did want to start with your Memphis Grizzlies because preseason game number 2 and the first one at home is scheduled for tonight. It's going to be Hornets Grizz inside FedEx Forum. Tip is scheduled for 7 o'clock. The Grizzlies are listed as 3.5-point favorites at this point. It appears Ja Morant is unlikely to play. He's been diagnosed, you probably heard, with a mild sprain of his ankle. He did not practice yesterday, according to Taylor Jenkins. Yes, he's expected to be good to go for the regular season opener. That's 13 days away in Utah. But Taylor Jenkins did say yesterday that they will be, quote, cautious with Ja's ankle over the next couple of weeks. And I think that suggests we really might not see Ja or Jaren perhaps for the rest of the preseason. You add Vince Williams, Gigi Jackson to the list of hobbled Grizzlies, and now we have 4 rotation players, including 2 starters, arguably the 2 most important starters, sidelined for at least the time being. Vince has tibia trouble. Gigi had foot surgery last month. Jaren's got a hamstring issue. Ja has a sprained ankle. Bennett, I guess it could be worse. Last season proved that, but this isn't ideal. This isn't the way I wanted to spend the preseason. Is it the way you wanted to spend the preseason?
It is not the way I wanted to spend the preseason. I was, you gotta find a way to get up for these preseason games,
yeah,
right?
I know.
Right?
Yeah, I know.
Charlotte's in town tonight.
Yeah, LaMelo.
LaMelo's in town. Maybe he'll play tonight. Maybe we'll get to see LaMelo Ball play tonight. So that'll be a nice little treat. But that being said, like I told you yesterday, I don't need to see Ja in the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know they're implementing a new offense. I know that it's important for him to get reps in the new offense. If anyone I think doesn't necessarily need the reps, I would say it's probably one of the best players in the world in Ja Morant.
Sure.
Like I think he'd be able to catch on just as well as anybody. So I don't really need to see him. I hope that, like they said, that it's minor and he's going to be good to go for the regular season. But as far as preseason goes, I'm cool with it.
I don't want to suggest that it's nothing because I actually do think it would be beneficial for Ja Morant to play in some preseason games.
Sure.
To get his rhythm back, to get him comfortable with Zach Edey, to just get the whole team comfortable with the franchise point guard running this new offense. I think there are some benefits to Ja playing, which means it's not great that he's not.
Right.
But if you want me to spin it into a positive, can I?
Yes.
How important is preseason really? Because in other sports, we are told, not at all. In the NFL, nobody plays.
That's right.
All right?
I mean, NFL, not at all.
In the NFL, it's like, okay,
and it's gotten worse. Yeah.
Preseason. Okay, it's week 1. Okay, now, Patrick Mahomes, get your helmet and go play.
Right.
We're not going to put you in a preseason game. Aaron Rodgers famously is not going to be in preseason games. Like Aaron Rodgers will enter the regular season, did enter the regular season, and still had not really run and had not really been hit.
Right.
All right. They just it's a different sport, and there's probably more injury risk in football, which helps explain why you keep superstars, starters out of most preseason action. It's not apples to apples. But there is another sport in this country that we follow where the people who run the franchises in that sport, they tell us preseason is a waste of time. We don't need it. They'll be ready to go when the regular season gets going. So why can't we apply that same logic to the sport of basketball?
I think we can.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I got. I'm just gonna live. I'm not a big. I probably shouldn't say this. I'm not a big preseason fan.
You're not a big preseason fan?
No, not at all.
You're not gonna be loving your life tonight?
It's just. It just doesn't do it for me.
I understand.
It just doesn't do it for me. I mean, you're playing 82 games in the regular season, and you're locked into all of them.
Yeah.
So, the preseason games just don't do anything for me.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'll turn it on because I need my eyeballs to see it. I got to talk about this stuff tomorrow, right?
I care more about summer league than preseason. Actually,
I do too.
I think summer league, you actually get something from it because it's guys that you typically just drafted and you want to get a first look at them like immediately after the draft. And so I think there's a little something more to that than NBA preseason.
I think that's right. I get more excited for the first Summer League game than I do for the first preseason game. And, buddy, by the third preseason game, I'm like, all right, that's enough.
Yes.
I don't need it.
Yes.
I don't need 5 of these things. All right.
No,
but they, you know what? They don't leave the schedule up to me. You know what's left up to me? 4 of the things and 5 more things.
That's right.
That's all I'm in charge of around here.
Yeah.
I'm in charge of 4 of the things and 5 more things.
Yeah.
They don't put me in charge of the preseason schedule.
All right.
So they handle that. They make the dates. I'll pay attention. But I'm with you. It can get 13 days away, regular season open. I'm ready for that one.
I'm ready for that one.
That's the one I'm ready for. So Ja's ankle is not great. But his Twitter fingers still work.
Yeah.
And I know this because he replied to a tweet yesterday afternoon. It was a tweet from NBA TV, and it was a tweet just sort of detailing one of the questions and answers from the annual general manager survey that we often discuss. The question was, which player is best primed for a breakout season this season, right? And you survey all general managers in the NBA. And Jalen Williams from Oklahoma City was the leading vote getter. And I think that makes sense. Everybody thinks he's on the verge of like all-star Jalen Williams, and he's the next big piece at OKC next to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Chet Holmgren. And that seems like a perfectly reasonable breakout candidate. I'm not surprised Jalen Williams was the leading vote getter. Among the other players to get votes in this survey for this question, Evan Mobley, Victor Wembanyama, Paolo Banchero, and Memphis Grizzlies franchise point guard Ja Morant. So Ja sees this tweet, and he decides he's going to reply to it. And he replied with these words. He said, respectfully, which I think that's a good word. I like that word. Respectfully. That's when you're about to ask somebody a question, and you're trying to be nice about it, but you're really just like, yo, what are we doing here? Respectfully, what are we doing here? Ja said, respectfully, why am I on here? And I think it seems like a reasonable question. Ja Morant doesn't need a breakout season. What are we talking about?
Yeah, like obviously I get into it and see some of the comments and stuff, and it's like, dude. First off, the first thing that popped in my mind was he's not wrong at all.
No, he's not wrong
for calling that out, because it just makes no sense. Again, the guy's been an all-star. The guy's been in playoff series.
He's a 25-year-old. Ja Morant is a 25-year-old former Rookie of the Year, 2-time NBA All-Star, who once finished 7th in MVP voting and now has Nike billboards in New York City.
That's insane.
He does not need to break out. He's broken out.
He has broken out.
He's been broken out.
Yes.
He just needs to bounce back. We just need to change a couple of words. Instead of who's going to have a breakout season, who's going to have a bounce back season? Ja Morant doesn't need a breakout season. You know who needs a breakout season? Zaire Williams. That's who needs a breakout season.
Yeah.
You know who needs a breakout season? Anthony Black. Anthony Black could use a breakout season, right? Ja Morant has been broken out for a while. And when you group him with nothing but less accomplished players in such a public way, it's disrespectful.
Yeah.
And it adds another chip to the shoulder. How you like that, Big Bet Bennett? We've just added another chip to Ja's surgically repaired shoulder. Good luck, NBA.
Yeah. And
Good luck, NBA.
I mean, it really did, seeing that yesterday, remind me, and I do love this position that the Grizzlies are in. It does remind you how much people have forgotten. I
really do think people have forgotten how awesome he is when he's on the court. Because for all of the other stuff that has created headlines over the past couple of years connected to Ja Morant, the one thing that was never not true was he was always awesome at basketball.
Always.
Regardless of what he was doing at night, regardless of what he was doing in the mornings, regardless of who he was hanging out with, he was always awesome at basketball.
Yes.
Always. He's a 2-time All-Star. He was second-team All-NBA in 22 and would have been All-NBA in 23 if not for the other stuff. I genuinely believe that there is not a sensible argument. It's not a sensible basketball argument to make against him being a 2-time All-NBA player right now. The voters just held the other stuff against him
in
2023, which perhaps is Understandable. Perhaps it's fitting. But don't ever forget, that's what happened. He was one of the best 15 players in the NBA in 2022 and in 2023. And briefly, when he was available last season in a series of games between the end of the suspension and the shoulder injury, he was awesome.
He was awesome. Had a game winner. He was great.
He's never not been awesome.
Right.
And I really think people have just forgotten how awesome he is. It's not just the highlights. Those are, we got those 2 nights ago. He got his head on the backboard. He's throwing lobs to Zach Edey. The highlights are always there. He impacts winning.
Yes.
He's been the face of one of the most successful Western Conference franchises for the past couple of years, past 3 years, up until the point where he was sidelined either by the NBA or by injury. And people really have just forgotten that. He does not need to break out. He has broken out. He has billboards all over this country. He has Nike commercials. The Ja 2 is on the way. He's broken out. He needs to bounce back. And as long as we get this ankle under control, I suspect that he will. And I would predict that within 1 week of the start of the regular season, you're going to wake up one morning, you're going to turn on ESPN, and there's going to be Stephen A. Smith and whoever else they got on television with them, and they're going to be doing Ja Morant segments, talking about, did we forget how good this guy is? Have we forgotten that the Grizzlies are seriously a Western Conference contender? You notice the players don't really forget this. You saw there was an interview with Jaylen Brown the other day. Did you see this? Name a team that didn't go to the playoffs last season that is ready to take a big step forward. Grizzlies.
Yeah.
Memphis. That's what he said. I don't think the players forget that Memphis is a real threat. I don't think the players forget that Ja Morant is incredible. But I do think fans have, and perhaps some GMs have as well. Because when somebody asks you what player in the association is best equipped, best position, best prime to have a, quote, breakout season, Ja Morant should not even enter your headspace.
Right.
He's been broken out. He's been broken out. You shouldn't even think of him. The question you should think of him, who is about to have a bounce back season and remind the world, perhaps, that he absolutely is one of the young faces of the NBA. It got derailed a little bit, undeniably. But I'm confident the basketball stuff is going to be just fine. Get his ankle under control. Give it a week of the regular season. People will be reminded pretty quickly that this is a guy just a couple of years ago folks were describing as the future face of the NBA. I don't know if that's ever going to be a reality. I know people talk about it less today than they did 2 years ago. But put him back on a basketball court, it'll look the way it's supposed to look pretty quickly, I assume. Parrish London is a Memphis high school basketball legend, University of Memphis alum. The Hoops for St. Jude Tip-Off Classic is scheduled for Tuesday night inside FedEx Forum. South Carolina women are going to be here to play the Memphis women. The North Carolina men are going to be here to play the Memphis men. All proceeds are going to benefit St. Jude Children's Research Hospital here in downtown Memphis. As you're trying to think of who understands basketball in St. Jude best in the city, the name Parrish London popped into my head. He's obviously one of the more celebrated high school basketball players the city has ever produced. He also is the parent of someone who has been a St. Jude patient. He knows how important that place is. It really, really has made a big impact on his family and lots of families. And so if we're trying to talk about basketball in St. Jude in the city, Parrish London, perfect person to talk to. He'll be with me next. It's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South.
Ja Morant, this player in the NBA with the most approved going into this season.
Ja Morant is one of the best players in the world. He's one of the best players in the world.
On the court, there is no question, barring injury, that what Ja Morant is.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What do you think about this matchup against the Pirates and the Bison?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is who in the hell put Gus Johnson as the notable alumni selection when we got Kamala Harris right now that's more relevant? It's 28 people I would have named before I would have got to Gus Johnson.
My assumption is, Mike, Hampton will find a way to come up again. Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Number 9 is going to go into the Raptors this year, and so make sure if you don't have tickets already, go grab those.
Okay,
March 15th, you know the night now.
Yo,
Tony Allen, jersey
go.
retirement night. You got a big-time night, too. A Saturday night against Miami this is a great one.
That's lit. That's lit, man. Big shout out.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South. The Hoops for St. Jude Tip-Off Classic is scheduled for Tuesday inside FedEx Forum. Dawn Staley bringing her South Carolina women, the reigning national champions, to FedEx Forum to play the Memphis women. And then Hubert Davis is going to bring the North Carolina men preseason top 10 team, reigning ACC champs, led by R.J. Davis, first-team All-American. He's going to bring the Tar Heels here to play an exhibition against the Memphis men. And all proceeds from the event are going to benefit St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. So when you're starting to think about basketball in St. Jude, the person who pops into my head is Paris London, because Paris is one of the most celebrated high school basketball players the city's ever produced, and also the father of a young man who has been a St. Jude patient. Paris London in studio now. First, man, it's just good to see you. How have you been?
Man, good. It's good to be seen.
It's just for people who are maybe younger and don't remember or just didn't live through it, I'm not being hyperbolic when I say you are one of the most celebrated high school players who ever came through here. I think I probably was aware of you when you were 13, 14, right. 15 years old. I've read subsequent stories where you've detailed that you felt like it got too big too quickly, and you really tried to protect your children from some of that as well. Just let's start there. Going back to when you are a high school phenom at Hamilton High, in the middle of a big recruiting battle, what was it like being a teenage celebrity in the mid-'90s?
To go through that, man, it becomes more than basketball.
Right.
So just like you said, by the age of 13, all of these things are coming my way. And I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed the game more.
Right.
So the thing for me when I talked about it becoming a lot was when the politics of the game.
Right.
I wasn't prepared for that. So I didn't have anybody to really educate me on the things that were coming outside of being in between those lines. So when all of that extra was coming, to me, it wasn't fun.
Right.
No, I just wanted to play ball. So, getting that at an early age, I definitely wanted to do that different with my kids.
And it was such a weird time for Memphis basketball because Tony Harris had famously just left Memphis to go to Tennessee.
Right.
And in many ways, that was kind of the end of the Larry Finch era.
Yeah.
I know you can never directly attach it to that, and I don't think Tony's completely comfortable with that. But when Tony picked Tennessee over Memphis, the fan base really went the other way on Larry, and he didn't last much longer. Did you feel pressure to stay home and to be a Memphis Tiger?
I didn't feel pressure. I think we all wanted to stay home.
Okay.
So, like you said, when the deal didn't go through with Tony, that was big for us. But overall, for me, I looked at it as just that class of '97. It was loaded.
Yeah.
Because
that was like Marcus Moody, Tony Harris, Corey Bradford, Snap.
Yeah. So, and during that time, and I think Moody maybe committed after Finch was already gone.
Yeah.
He committed to the Tick.
Right.
So that class, I think, with Finch not getting any of them to commit prior to him leaving was I think that weighed a lot on them keeping him. And I hated that because that was the Memphis that I grew up watching.
Right.
And I appreciated it even more once I went to Memphis myself. And things were different because we had new coaches coming in that wanted to go in other directions, but it made me appreciate Larry Finch that much more.
As I'm thinking through it, you get to Memphis, and then, we don't have to tell stories. It didn't go perfectly.
Right.
Do you think how complicated your prep career got hindered your college career? I think of other people who have been through this, like Renardo Sidney became super famous in high school, and it didn't turn out so well. Amani Bates got super famous in high school, and it didn't turn out so well. I think there's maybe a correlation between this stuff.
Yeah, I think so. I think because what you want to do, you want to get back to what attracted them anyway.
Right.
What attracted all the media to me? It was what I was doing on the floor. Now, you add that to committing to one coach and then playing for 3 coaches total, so that's not the stability you would want for your college career.
Right.
For me, luckily, because I was so my high school career was so good that I still had the opportunity to play professional.
Right.
But I think that was solely based off of, and I feel blessed for that. But I think in college, and I don't think everybody's suited for it.
Right.
Because I don't know if you remember at first, it was a lot of talk about me going pro out of high school. And I always turned it down. So I don't think everybody's absolutely suited for the college game, too. I think, that's a big thing.
When did you first realize that you were famous in your hometown at a very young age? Again, I can remember, the name Paris London was an important name in this city for years as you were, just getting through Hamilton High School. When did you realize, anywhere you went in Memphis, people knew who you were?
Just that, when you're going around and they know you.
Right.
This is such a big hoop town, the love you get for simply being good at this game, So it was that. And it was also just the recognitions from my teammates. Right. It was so competitive back then that every level I was making the top team, being a part of the top team, in the starting lineup, being a big reason why we were successful. So getting that approval from my teammates was really, really huge for me.
So you wrap up your college career, you wrap up your professional career, and then life starts happening.
Right.
And then we look up, and we probably have more in common than we had when we were both students at the University of Memphis. We're both fathers now. We both have children. And at some point, I went back and read the story that Zach McMillan did at the Commercial Appeal on you and Nicholas. And as I'm reading it, I'm reminded everything was fine until it wasn't.
Right.
He was like his father, a flourishing basketball prospect and getting invited to camps. And as the story goes, he gets invited to the Chris Paul camp, which is a huge deal.
Right.
I was just talking to Matt Painter at Purdue, and he was upset because he couldn't get his All-American point guard, Braden Smith, into a Chris Paul camp.
Right.
Your son was there. And you notice that he's not moving the way he normally moves. He's not running the way he normally runs. And you actually told him, we're taking this basketball and setting it over here until we figure out what's going on. Yeah. And then I want you to take me to that day. When you get a phone call or you're in a doctor's office and they tell you your next appointment is going to be at St. Jude, we believe your son might have cancer.
I'll never forget it, and we had went maybe a month or so of watching his gameplay go down, And for me, like we talked about before, my biggest thing was protecting my kids, and still is, because I have one coming up now that's, I think is really good. So that attention is coming, but I'm big on protecting them. I was doing the same thing with Nicholas, and then when we let our guards down and we started letting them play and go on the circuit, it was 2 events where I was looking in the hustle and all those things wasn't where it was supposed to be. He's a big kid. He was about 6'6" then. He's about 6'7", 6'8" now. He wasn't rebounding. He could always shoot, had a natural good touch, and that's all he was doing. So at the Chris Paul camp, we would go there. Chuck Lawson, those guys were there. So he had games where I would leave, go back to the hotel because I wasn't seeing what I need to see, and I didn't want to be a distraction, as the dad that's not approving what he's seeing. So Chuck would call me and say, hey, Nicholas just hit 10 threes. Oh, wow. So I'm like, yeah, he can shoot with his eyes closed, though. Something's not right. So we got through it. That's pretty much what went on to Chris Paul. So when we got home, what actually got him to the doctors, myself and my wife, we were going out on a date, and we were talking about Nicholas' effort. And she had to stop and tell me, she was like, hey, he's not a complainer. He's been complaining. Right. Something's not right. I said, I tell you what, put the ball down. He's not touching the basketball. Take him to the pediatrician. Let's see what's up. Right. I was at work at Hamilton. At this point, I was working at Hamilton. And she went to take Nicholas to the pediatrician, and she seen it right then, which is rare. With our experience with St. Jude, we've talked with other patients who've went to 5 or 6 doctors and didn't get this thing, diagnosed. So she seen it, she ran the test again, and from there, she called St. Jude, and my wife called me and told me that we're headed to St. Jude. And of course, the only thing I could think about, well, number one, my world was just shocked, because I was never thinking we was going to hear that. But that's how that happened. Our pediatrician did a great job. She seen it. She double-checked it. She said, this looks like something that, you guys need to go to St. Jude.
And let's not leave people in suspense. Let's fast forward to present day. Nicholas is doing great.
Doing really good. Right. Doing good. He was really sensitive to the treatment, which is a good thing. Right. So that helped with, getting rid of the cancer. And to this day, he's still cancer-free. He's a student. He does music. He tried to get back to basketball, but because he was so sensitive to the treatment, which saved his life, it also affected things as an athlete that he just didn't feel the same. So he ended up receiving his college scholarship and everything, but he got to school and decided he didn't want to pursue it, any further.
I imagine, because this same thing happened to a family just a few houses down from me within the past couple of years. Like the little guy he's friends with my little guys, and there's swimming in the backyard, and he's fine. And 2 weeks later, he's at St. Jude. Yeah. And it was the same thing. He just didn't feel well. Something wasn't right. They start running the test, and it leads them there. He is also doing well. Yeah. And it's sort of an interesting dynamic, because when you hear that, as a father, it terrifies me. Right. It breaks my heart, just the idea of it. But then you quickly realize, because of this place, you're probably going to be okay. And that's not like misleading. It's not trying to make you feel good.
Right.
This is awful that you're in this situation. Right. But because of that hospital, statistically, you are probably going to be okay. That's a reassuring thing.
Yeah, you have a chance. I tell people all the time, I've done several interviews about our journey with St. Jude, and I tell people, it's just like you said, it's terrible what your kid is going through. But if it was ever a great place to be at going through this, with all that they do to support the kids, to the treatments that they have in place with, looking at their bodies, seeing how they're reacting to certain things, just the attention to detail that's given to the families that's there, man, you can't beat it. And especially when you're talking about families who, when you get that news, you don't know what to do. But from day one, they had a plan, they were clear on it, and it helped us get back on our feet. And especially, and not throwing in the fact that you don't have to worry about bills.
Right.
Whether you can afford it or not, the last thing you want to think about is, I have to pay a bill,
Oh, it could bankrupt you.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Families go bankrupt every day in this country because of medical bills.
Medical bills, right. So we were able to 100% focus on our child getting better. And we thank St. Jude for that, tremendously, for the work that they've done and they continue to do.
You're a lifelong Memphian, and there's obviously we're a city filled with people, and I think everybody here is aware of St. Jude.
Right.
I don't know if everybody here has a great grasp for exactly what is going on at that place and how amazing it is. If your son or daughter or my sons would get diagnosed with some other illness, it really might cost us tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Easy.
At St. Jude, you never get a bill. How much did you know about St. Jude, even as a lifelong Memphian, before you were actually in the building?
You just hit it on the head. We know of St. Jude, but just like other parents and families have did, I will see the commercial and it's too hard to watch. You change the channel. But once my son went through that, and what I think, is the blessing in all of this is I'd never seen anybody that was from the sports world, a kid that was on his way to being a Division I, signee and had this career in front of him, all of a sudden sidelined by cancer. So with Nicholas going through that, I think it woke up a lot of people here. And I think now, just from the run and walks, like we've had hundreds of people from our community to come out and support this because it's also showing that, hey, athletes, anybody can be affected by this, but look at what this family is going through. Look at this journey and look at how they're doing with this. And, and like I said, all thanks to St. Jude and God.
And the reason I wanted to bring you in here, it's not just to catch up, although I'm loving catching up. The Hoops for St. Jude Tip-Off Classic is Tuesday night inside FedEx Forum. North Carolina men, Memphis men, South Carolina women, Memphis women. All proceeds are going to benefit that hospital that helped save your son's life. We don't have to lie to each other. We're trying to make this a big deal. We want people to support this because it could turn into something bigger. Just as a father of somebody who has relied on that hospital, would you recognize a basketball game featuring your alma mater is designed to raise money for this hospital? What message would you have for Tiger fans who are on the fence about going or not, about the importance of getting in that building, not just to support a basketball program we all care about, but to do something nice for this amazing hospital downtown?
Right. What better combination could you put together than St. Jude and the Memphis Tigers with Penny Hardaway at the head? If it was ever a Memphian who cared more about Memphis, I think you would have to go to who? Larry Finch. When you're talking about the Tigers and basketball and what he's done for this city and how he feel about the city, what Penny is doing there is bigger than basketball. What St. Jude is doing, you partner them together, my message to fans would be, it's not a better event to support than what we're doing here. We used to do events for Nicholas on the high school level, and Penny supported that. He supported our family throughout the process when we were going through the fight. He supported countless families around the city of Memphis. And he's doing things with St. Jude every year. Nicholas has talked with the Tigers. I think he's scheduled to talk with them again. It's not a better fit you can put together than this. Some things are just magic. For me, it's just magic to have the Tigers, to have St. Jude, to have this come together, and I know it's going to be big. I know we're going to have great support, and I'm beforehand, I'm thanking everybody because I know that Memphis is going to come up, turn out, show out. I think it's going to be great.
Again, it's the Hoops for St. Jude Tip-Off Classic. Tickets are available right now. Ticketmaster.com, but you can get there through the St. Jude website. You can get there through the Grizzlies website, FedEx Forum website. Again, the easiest place, Ticketmaster.com. Before I get you out of here, just update people on what is going on in Paris London's life right now. We all knew everything you did when you were 15, 16 years old. I think people are less familiar with what's going on now. How's Paris London doing?
Man, I enjoy being normal. So once I came from overseas and I was done playing, man, I just went into a shell. It wasn't negative. I just enjoyed being normal. So right now, I train my kids. My son, Parrish London III, P3, is doing really good.
How old
he's
is
just in the 8th grade,
Okay.
14. So he's hit the national scene with people recruiting him. So I'm just enjoying being a family man. My daughter, 12 years old, she's ranked number 1 and number 2 in the state in tennis. So I train her. So my job now is working for a great organization, Tennis Memphis. So I'm working in tennis.
You're in tennis. Parrish London is in tennis.
It's amazing what your babies will have you doing, man. So I love it. So I'm supporting her. She's doing really good. So now, my job now is tennis and tutoring. So we're mentoring and we're teaching tennis.
Man, that makes me happy. That makes me smile so big. Hey, listen, it's so good to catch up with you. Like I said, I hadn't seen you in a long time, but I used to love seeing you and covering your games. First at Hamilton, then at Memphis. It's just awesome to see your face.
Thank
you
you,
look
man.
great. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
For
Thank
becoming
you.
the man that you've become.
Appreciate it.
Hey, it's good to see you.
Yes, sir.
Hoops for St. Jude Tip-Off Classic, Tuesday night inside FedEx Forum. Memphis men, North Carolina men, South Carolina women, Memphis women. Tickets are available right now. Ticketmaster.com. All proceeds support St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. When we come back, turn our attention to baseball. Mets secured a spot in the NLCS last night, 4-1 victory over the Phillies. Francisco Lindor, big grand slam. Show it to you next. Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. That was great.
Home dogs are barking. How about the Minnesota Vikings? Home dog the last 2 weeks. They've been a dog in all 3 games this season. They're 3-0, winning by 22, winning by 6, and winning by 27. Dominating their opponent, dominating the point spread, 3-0 against the number. And then they're a dog again this week, aren't they? At Green Bay. 2.5-point dog at Green Bay.
They are dogging it.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What do you think about this matchup against the Pirates and the Bison?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is who in the hell put Gus Johnson as the notable alumni selection when we got Kamala Harris right now that's more relevant? It's 28 people I would have named before I would have got the Gus Johnson.
My assumption is, Mike, Hampton will find a way to come up again. Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy.
Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now.
So if I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. And that's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays and the evenings and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Big thanks to Paris London for coming in studio, and to Carolyn Gonzalez from St. Jude for helping us orchestrate all of that. Wow, how great is it to see Paris London?
That was really cool. Really cool.
Like, I'm not exaggerating. That makes me so happy. I really enjoy seeing people do well.
Yep.
Like, I really like seeing I like seeing people do well. Paris was a high school basketball legend, but he also, was raised in, a difficult part of town.
Mm-hmm.
And, that presents all sorts of challenges. And just to see him now as a proud father, and, he had 2 of his children up here with him.
Yep, I saw him, yep.
And
I had to step out because I started choking during the
I
interview.
noticed that.
I hope that didn't pick up on the broadcast.
I'm sure it did, but hey,
sorry, everyone.
We're not running.
Apologies.
We're not running 60 minutes over here.
Yeah.
We're not running 60 minutes. If you got a cough, you got a cough. It just made me happy to see him, to see Paris London. I wish that all of the content that we have today existed back in the mid-'90s, and I could just send you to YouTube to watch Paris London highlights from Hamilton High, because he was an absolute phenom.
Yeah.
Just a star high school prospect who was nationally known at a very young age.
Yeah, like even as a kid, he was a big deal. Like,
Because
because we didn't have the Grizzlies.
When he picked Memphis over Arkansas, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
I can remember writing. I don't remember Final Four columns I've written, but I remember writing a column for the Daily Helmsman on campus at the University of Memphis the day Paris London picked Memphis over Arkansas. I think the stupid headline, and I acknowledge up front it was a stupid headline, but I think the stupid headline was something like Nolan's bridge is falling down instead of London's bridge is falling down. It was like Nolan's bridge is falling down.
I think for Daily Helmsman, that's pretty good.
Looking back, I think it wasn't bad. Nolan's bridge is falling down. The imagery being the bridge that connects Arkansas to Memphis. That bridge Nolan Richardson had crossed so many times to come get Todd Day and other Memphis high school products and take them back to Fayetteville and win national championships. That bridge is falling down. Because of Paris. It's not that bad, was it? The point is, I remember that. I remember that being a significant day in the history of the University of Memphis basketball program. That was a significant day. That was a big-time day. This whole city was happy that day because of what Paris London announced. And to see him all these years later, proud father, tennis instructor.
That's pretty cool.
The best.
Yep.
The best. Thanks to Paris London for being here. Now I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
4-1. That was your final score.
How about it?
Citi Field last night. The Mets smack aside the NL East champions, those Philadelphia Phillies, thanks to a big shot from Francisco Lindor. The Mets were down 1-0. The bases were loaded. The captain comes to the plate. Let's watch it together.
Okay, let's see what's going on.
The 2-1. Lindor towards right center field. This one is back. It is gone! Grand slam! And Lindor puts the Mets on top. The biggest swing of the season for New York.
About to cry in my living room.
Y'all were on the brink.
That's a big moment.
Y'all were on the brink.
That's the biggest home run in the history of Citi Field.
I was worried. I was like, you can't let this thing go back to Philly. You can't let this thing go back to Philly.
I mean, can't go back to Philly. I wasn't scared.
But
I wasn't scared to go back to Philly. I'll go back to Philly right now. But I'm glad we don't have to.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're avoiding that. So now we're just sitting around waiting on the Dodgers and Padres to figure things out. Hey, can one of you guys get out of your little NLDS and join us over? We'll be over here in the NLCS waiting on you. Just text us when you get here.
Do you have a preference?
I think I'd rather play the Dodgers.
And that's a hell of a series.
And not because I'm looking forward to dealing with Mookie Betts and Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman. But the Dodgers can't pitch.
They are struggling. Yeah.
Like they just really got caught with, like, Kershaw is hurt. Walker Buehler's not the same. They got caught without pitching. They got this incredible lineup, but they got caught without pitching. I think I'd rather play the Dodgers.
Okay.
I think I would rather play the Dodgers. But I fear no team.
Good.
I've reached a point where I fear no team. you see the celebration last night? I just sat there and watched the whole celebration.
Yeah.
I like a good clubhouse celebration. Brandon Nimmo gave a post-game interview to come to the clubhouse. I imagine most people just either weren't watching it or turned it off at that point, but I was in it. I was going to soak up every second of it. It may be the best clubhouse interview I've ever seen. Like, just thoughtful and great. Every answer, no stupid sports cliches. He was just talking like a normal person. I promise you, if television executive was watching that last night, they're like, as soon as he retires, call his agent. He could go straight from playing baseball to doing what Jason Kelce is now doing.
Right.
He was terrific. And I thought this was interesting. Carlos Mendoza, Mets manager, first-year manager, rookie manager, going all right. In the clubhouse, he addressed the team. And, the front office is there, ownership group, everybody's there, right? I thought this was interesting and smart and probably something all of us should pick up on. Just smart. He's addressing the team and he says, guys, first thing I want you to do, or, among the things we need to do is like really thank our owners, Steve and Alex Cohen.
Okay.
What's interesting about that is if you were to ask me yesterday or 2 days ago or 2 weeks ago or 2 years ago, who's the Mets owner? You know what I would have said? Steve Cohen. Steve Cohen's the owner.
Oh, who's Alex?
His wife.
Okay.
Alexandra or whatever.
Nice.
Go out of your way to bring her into it. Make her feel like she's a part of it too. People talk about the Mets owner. I didn't even know that woman's name until I heard the manager say it last night. It's never even occurred.
Someone bought himself some years.
There you go. Like, it's smart. Like, all it took was him adding one word to make somebody feel good. And oh, by the way, that somebody is a billionaire who could have influence over your job someday. Imagine Steve Cohen's like, we got to get rid of Mendoza. And the wife's like, I really like him.
I like him, yeah.
Give him time. I just think it takes you an extra 2 seconds to change the entire message and make somebody who might have otherwise felt invisible feel great.
Yeah.
Just smart business. I enjoyed the whole thing. Team of Destiny, that's what they're saying.
I feel like you got to win it all
Team
now,
of
dude.
Destiny.
I feel like you got to win it all.
People are starting to say Team of Destiny. I don't even know if I believe in that kind of stuff, right?
I mean,
but I will. I'll try. I'll do my best to believe in it.
It would be so sick to see Mets Yankees in the World Series. That's a long way to go. Long way to go.
We need Mets Yankees.
That would be epic.
I'll take the Royals again in a 2015 World Series rematch if they want to do that. If they want to do round two.
I ain't got no time.
I'll do round two if you want to do round two.
No time for that.
If you want to do round two, we'll do round two, Royals.
Kansas City doesn't deserve this, okay? They don't.
They don't even try to be great at baseball.
They had enough success.
They don't build a new stadium. They don't spend all the money, and then you just look up and they're good again.
Kansas City has had enough success.
I think you should have to spend $1 billion to be good. That's what what my team has to do.
Yeah.
We have to spend all the money. That's the other thing. It's just the most expensive team in baseball. But whatever. I'm not getting caught up in the details. Yeah. But I have been operating under the impression if you want to be good at something, you got to really try. And by try, I mean throw $1 billion at it.
Yep.
And then here's the little old Royals. And the little old Tigers. Little Royals, little old Tigers, they need the Yankees in the American League.
Yeah, they got Patrick Mahomes. They're fine in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Like, we're good.
Honestly, obviously I want it to be the Mets, but the Dodgers, massive. Shohei in the World Series, incredible. Honestly, the Dodgers in the World Series would be incredible.
We've seen it.
We've seen that. The Padres would be fun. Manny Machado's fun. Fernando Tatis is fun.
Yeah, they would be fun.
I think any of the 3 National League teams that are left, you'll take them.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
For baseball. It's like, if you're baseball, you're like, give me the Mets, Padres, or Dodgers. I can rank them if you want me to, but they're all 3 great for a World Series. American League, you do not want Cleveland.
Hell no.
You do not want Detroit.
I don't think so, although it's a fun story.
And you don't want Kansas City.
No, absolutely not.
You want Aaron Judge and the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
That's what you want. Aaron Judge and the New York Yankees. So go Yankees, I guess?
I think it's go Yankees. That's hard to say, but I respect the Yankees.
Yeah, I don't hate the Yankees.
No.
I hate the Yankees.
I hate the Red Sox.
I would like to win a World Series at the expense of the Yankees. Winning a World Series. I'd like to be sitting in Yankee Stadium when the Mets win Game 7 of the 2024 World Series.
Okay.
That's what I'm planning on doing.
All right, man.
I'm looking
Good
forward
luck.
to it. LGM. And if the Royals want some again, we'll do that too.
Okay.
I fear no man.
I got no time for that.
I fear no man. I fear no man.
Number 2.
AL playoffs unfolding. We got 2 closeout games, possible closeout games tonight. Couple of game 4s. 5 o'clock, Guardians and Tigers. 7 o'clock, Yankees, Royals. And this will come after the Yankees won in Kansas City last night. Patrick Mahomes, previously mentioned, he was in attendance.
I saw him.
He was getting fired
I
up.
believe we have the video,
Look at him.
yeah.
Look at him. Look at him talking crazy to Mac Miller.
Who is that?
That's Mac Miller. The ghost of Mac Miller.
I hope that's his friend, because I would punch Patrick Mahomes in the face if he did that to me.
I did a quick Twitter search, and what somebody told me is that is a former Kansas City Chief or a former.
Okay, good.
It's a former somebody. That guy used
That's
to be.
an extreme level of aggression to just do to some random fan. I know, I understand it's Patrick Mahomes, but come on.
That is the way I got treated by Cubs fans.
Were they pushing on you like that?
I had a guy jump in me like that.
No, we're fighting.
Buddy, I
now understand you're like in the mix.
Literally in the bleachers at Wrigley Field, surrounded by Cubs fans. I'm in an orange Mets shirt, and I understand the concept of you don't let somebody.
Don't bow up to me like that.
I understand the concept of like you either knock this guy out or you get knocked out, but you don't sit there and let somebody do that to you. I understand the concept of that, right? That sounds more like where you're coming from. If I jump on you like that,
that was aggressive.
I agree with you. All right, I understand the concept. The problem, of course, is that had I done something when somebody jumped on me like that in that situation, I would have got my brains kicked in by 50 Cubs fans. What am I trying to do? Fight the whole bleachers? The guy was jumping on me just like that, like a Cub hit a home run. By the way, the Mets were up 2-0 in the series, on our way to a sweep. It's not like I was carrying around a broom, and a Cub hit a home run or something, and a guy jumped on me like that. It was all in fun, but it looked exactly like that. And I just sort of smiled because I didn't know what am I supposed to do.
Yeah.
I did exactly what the ghost of Mac Miller did.
Yeah, he was just like, okay.
Look at the ghost of Mac Miller. Looks good. All these years.
I like Mahomes, though.
I like Mac Miller.
I like Mahomes. He's cool. Oh, yeah, rest in peace, Mac Miller.
Rest in peace, Mac Miller. And calm down, Patrick Mahomes. Oh, by the way, Yankees won. So that clearly was
sit your ass down.
that was a moment where maybe the Royals looked like they were going to win, but then John Collar Stanton came up in the 8th, and you know what he does sometimes. Big-time homers. He hit one. Yankees now 1 win away from advancing to the ALCS, and they're big favorites in Kansas City today. You want to know why? Garrett Cole's on the mound. Oh, buddy, nice to have a closeout game on the road with your ace on the mound, knowing that even if you can't get it done, you get to go back home. It's a good place to be if you're a Yankee.
I think it's a good place to be. They're in a good spot.
AL playoffs, we get doubleheader today.
Number 3.
Okay, wild story. South Carolina. Man's on death row.
Okay.
His name's Richard Moore. He's 59, and he's been sentenced to death after being convicted of murder in the 1999 shooting of a store clerk in Spartanburg County, South Carolina. And so now here we are. All the appeals are gone, exhausted. It's time to kill this man.
Okay.
How you feel about the death penalty? Do you like it?
I'm not anti.
I think I'm anti.
Are you anti?
I think I'm anti-death penalty.
I mean, I will say, like, I just putting aside like the morality of it all, I think there's like if someone killed a loved one of mine or something like that, I think I would feel more satisfied knowing if they were just like suffering in prison the rest of their life than just getting the easy way out.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
either.
that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I don't. I want to be clear. I don't have a problem with killing a bad person. You know, like hey, we've got undeniable proof this guy raped 7 children. Okay, kill him. It's fine with me. I don't care. I'm just anti-death penalty because I think we kill innocent people sometimes. I'd rather let 10 guilty people live than kill 1 innocent person. That's what I subscribe to.
Okay.
Does that make me a great person?
I don't know.
Feels like it makes me great.
I'm not anti-death penalty.
I'm not anti-terrible people being killed, but I am anti-death penalty just because I think sometimes innocent people get caught up in the death penalty.
That's fair.
All right.
That's fair.
All right. This fella here, I can't speak to it. I don't know nothing about it.
We don't know what's going on with him.
All I know is that he's out of time, and they killing this buddy next week. All right? So guess what he has to do? Pick.
How he's going to die?
Yes. They
That's
give you three
weird.
options, like a multiple choice.
Weird. I thought that I thought that states just had this state does lethal injection. I figured everybody just did lethal injection.
South Carolina's like Burger King. You can have it your way.
Okay. What are the options besides lethal injection?
3 options.
Okay.
3 options.
All right.
One is lethal injection. All right. You can just say, give me the lethal injection. They'll inject you, and then it's over with. All right.
Write this down.
Yeah, you're going to need to take notes.
Okay.
Okay. Lethal injection.
All right.
The second one is the electric chair.
They still have those?
Yes. They tested it last year. They've had it since 1918. It was installed in 1912, and they still have it. First off, should you have anything from 1912?
No.
Other than like Gramming, if she's still kicking?
I feel like.
And even
let me
then,
hear the other
I
option.
don't think you should have anything from 1912, including your grandmother. If your grandmother or great grandmother is still alive and she was born in 1912, it's time.
It's time to go.
It's time to go. Party's over. All right, party's over. So I submit you shouldn't have anything from 1912, including an electric chair. But that's option 2. Option 1 is a lethal injection.
Okay.
Option 2 is the electric chair. Option 3, firing squad.
I knew you were going to say that.
And do you know how they do it?
How?
Okay. Firing squad. Here's the way they do it.
Yeah.
They take 3 people. Mm-hmm. First off, they put a target on your heart. They put a target on your heart. They don't just tell them to shoot you. They say shoot the target, but they put the target on your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 3 people. They're 15 feet from you. They've all got guns, and they're pointed at your heart, and then they say go. And you get 3 bullets in your heart.
Yeah.
Those are your options. What do you do?
Okay. Let me think on this. I'm going to say, I'm just going to stick with what I know, and that's lethal injection.
I think it's the easiest one.
Yeah.
It's got to be the way you got to do it.
Because here's the thing. Firing squad, how good are the marksmen? Like, I'm not trying to, be alive while I'm getting shot.
Oh, it's all great. Like, okay, I'll take the firing squad. Let's get this over with.
Yeah.
And then they hire that little weirdo who took a shot at Trump, and now he just nicks my ear. And I'm like, what? You just nicked my ear? Bro, hit my heart.
That's the thing. I've seen a lot of videos. I'm on the For You tab a lot. We were watching a crazy one right before the show today.
Buddy, me and you I watched 2 murders right before the show. One was in the middle of snowy streets.
I believe it was Buffalo. I believe that happened in Buffalo.
It was just
That's a famous one.
It was neighbors arguing, and then the guy was just like, I've had enough of this conversation. Pop, pop.
Yeah.
Put 2 more in this woman's head. She's laying there in the street like that. Watch that one. And then there was one in Chicago a couple days ago.
Uh-huh.
Buddy, like a cashier at a restaurant, was just like, I've had enough of this. Pop. And then this other fellow over here, he just eating his food. Like,
yeah.
But I just do you too.
That's the problem with firing squad is in your head, you're just like, oh, man, you get shot, you're dead, right? It's not always the case.
It's not always the case.
It's not always the case.
I watched that woman in Buffalo. She took 2 in the head, and she was still
moving around.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's the thing. I don't like firing squad's out.
I think firing squad's out. Electric chair sounds insane.
Electric chair sounds insane, but at the same time, that's like you'd always. It's pretty legendary.
It would be legendary. Would you want people to see it?
Has anyone ever done the electric chair in any when was the last time the electric chair was done? It must have been.
Well, they've had it since 1912.
Yeah, but they haven't used it.
When was
these people are choosing lethal injection?
Somebody died in an electric chair. Okay, let's see what's going on here.
Okay, Abigail says that if he doesn't choose, that it is electric chair by default. That's insane. That is insane.
Bro, I'm choosing then. You can't put me in an electric chair. Imagine just being put in an electric chair. Just the
feeling, yeah.
Just like, hey.
I'm like in a horror movie.
February 20th, 2020, Nicholas Todd Sutton.
We've had to reach an electric chair.
Yeah, in Tennessee.
Wow.
They did him in Tennessee. Nicholas Todd Sutton. Executed by electric chair, February 2020.
I'm not doing that. That sounds horrible. Like, have you ever been tased before? Like, have you ever?
No, where would I be tased?
Oh,
Bennett?
you never had a friend that had.
I've never been.
No.
I've never been pursued by the cops.
No.
No, I've never been tased.
You never had a friend that had a taser and you just experimented, like you wanted to see what it felt like.
No, I had friends.
Well, it doesn't feel good.
Oh,
all right.
My friends had water bongs.
I have tased myself, and it doesn't feel great. Now I did the lowest, like setting on it, but it was just like. And it hurts. Like, it hurts bad. I can't imagine that going through your brain on like the highest level. So I'm gonna go lethal injection. I know that's kind of lame, but that's what I'm going with. That's what I'm going with.
I know it's the lamest way to do it.
It's for sure the lamest.
But it feels like it's just got to be the best. Like, don't you? They just got to do it right. Because sometimes I see the lethal injections and it's like, yo, man,
my skin's on fire.
Or it's just like there's like it ain't quite got him where it needs to get him as quickly as it needs to get him.
Yeah.
Like there's like 45 seconds of this is uncomfortable for everybody.
Okay, let's talk through this a second.
Okay.
Why not, if we have all these options and we're going with lethal injection, I know there's probably some logistics with like the injection seat that you're sitting in and then the electric chair. So we'll just say electric chair's out. But if I'm going through lethal injection, can I have the option of, can you have the firing squad on standby?
There you go.
Like if my skin starts burning and I'm not going to sleep, then just like let's bring out the firing squad.
How about this? Yeah. Lethal inject me, but also have a fella standing here with a gun right here.
Yeah.
And then like let's try to do it this way. But if you see me going, this sucks and I'm still alive, then just boom, just do me like that.
Yeah.
Like you see, remember what's the Flower Moon movie?
Killers of the Flower Moon.
I watched that.
Yeah.
Took me 3 years, but I got to it. Remember when Jason Isbell's character gets blown up in that house?
I remember.
And he's begging people to put a bullet in him. He's saying, please, shoot me.
Blown up, yeah.
Shoot me. He's begging. That's what you ought to be able to do if you're dealing with a lethal injection and it's not working so well. You should be able to say, all right, firing squad, do your thing.
Yeah.
Pop, pop, pop. What about a beheading? Why can't we just chop somebody's head off like the good old days?
No, that's other people have to see that. I don't know.
What would you rather see? Like, I'm about to send you a video. I say, hey, Bennett, I got 3 videos for you. One is a man in an electric chair. One is a firing squad. One is a beheading. We're just going to chop his head off. Which one would you rather see? Which one would you least like to see?
I feel like I've seen all 3.
I've seen all 3.
I think I've seen all 3.
I don't think I've seen a good electric chair video. Are they out there?
I think there's electric chair videos out there.
Send me
I feel
one
like I've seen an electric chair video.
Send it my way. I wouldn't mind checking that out.
I feel like an electric chair video.
I wouldn't mind looking at that once everybody goes to sleep at night.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, so lethal injection's the way.
Yeah.
I hope I hope this guy makes a good choice. And also, I just hope he makes a good choice. He's clearly had a life of making poor choices, it appears. That's how you end up.
Seems that way.
Hard to end up on death row without making a poor choice somewhere, you know?
Right.
All right? I hope he makes a better choice this time. Lethal injection's the way to go.
Number 4.
Jason Kelce has a suggestion to improve football at the professional level in this country, in a league they call the NFL. You know what he says? The kickers are too good now. We need to decrease the field goal post. We need to make them more narrow because kickers are routinely making 60-yard field goals now. 50-yard field goal, like it's nothing. You'll take a knee to set up a 50-yarder. It's nothing. Used to be when I was a kid, if you kicked a 50-yarder, it's like, my God, who's this guy think he is?
Right.
Pele? Now everybody kicks 50-yarders with their eyes closed. All right. So Jason Kelce says kickers are having too much influence over the outcomes of games. Like the most important thing sometimes is just the kicker. This is crazy. Kickers shouldn't be influencing football games this much. Football players should be influencing football games. We need to decrease the role of the kicker, and one way to do that is to narrow the field goal post. What do you think?
As someone who plays in like a million fantasy football leagues, I can confirm that is just not true, that they don't miss. I mean, they are missing. There are misses happening.
But they are greater than ever.
They are greater than ever. Mm-hmm. Yes, they are greater than ever. I disagree, though. I disagree.
I think his central point is true. I don't know if we need to narrow the post, and I don't know if the kickers are too good for post position where they are right now. I can't speak to any of that. I think his central point is true, that it is kind of crazy that kickers, people we don't even describe as actual football players, so often
control the outcomes. Yeah,
determine the outcomes of football games. Baseball players determine the outcomes of baseball games usually. Basketball players determine the outcome of basketball games always. Kickers determine the outcome of. There's not a single thing about kicking that lines up with anything else in the sport of football. It's just a little specialty thing that they added to this, and they often determine who wins regular season games, who wins playoff games, who even wins Super Bowls. Should it really come down to you have a comparable football team to this football team, and at the end of the day, the way we're going to decide who has the better football team is this little 150-pound guy going to kick a football, and if it goes through, then this football team's better, and if it doesn't, well, then this football team's better. Just logically, that makes no sense to me.
I agree, and I do understand the point.
Larry David has made this point, I believe, before, comedically. Like, he's just like, we need to get rid of all the, like, why are we kicking in football? Why do we even kick anything? I think I think Jason Kelce makes a fair point. Kickers have too much influence over football games. Like, a kicker might determine, like, when you think of a football player, you think of a linebacker. A kicker might have more influence over a football game than a linebacker. Does that make sense to you?
It does. Yeah. I get the point. I don't think it'll change.
I don't think it. I bet we'll change someday.
I mean,
we change everything else some days. We move 3-point lines back.
Well, they moved the extra point back in the NFL.
Yeah, so
you see guys missing those. I don't know.
I think it'll change someday. I think we'll look up someday, and the field goal posts will not be exactly as they are right now.
I could see it.
That's my prediction.
I could see it.
I'm predicting it.
Okay.
All right.
Number 5.
Hurricane Milton. It made landfall in Florida. Millions of people without power, just like you, Bennett.
Yeah. I saw it wasn't as bad as we thought it was going to be, right? It is still bad.
It's bad, but not as bad as our worst imaginations.
Yeah, right.
And that's all you hope. You prepare for the worst and hope for the best. There's still a lot of stuff underwater.
Yeah, it sounds like too. Like I saw that the deaths, most of the deaths were tornado related because they had those tornadoes. 4 people have been killed by tornadoes.
Yeah. Imagine preparing for a hurricane and you get knocked out by a tornado.
Right.
That's like you over here in a knife fight and then somebody just puts a bullet in the back of your head. What?
Right.
I thought I was in a knife fight. I didn't know there's a gun in the back of my head. I thought I was trying to deal with a hurricane.
Yeah.
I didn't know a tornado was going in my life. That's
tough, yeah.
That's a tough deal. He's probably spent all day going, we got to avoid these hurricanes. Next thing you know, you get sideswiped by a tornado. What a wild deal. Current numbers, 3 million people without power.
Jeez.
4 people killed by tornadoes. And 135 people are right now in this moment being rescued from an assisted living facility. That's the other thing about evacuate. Not everybody can.
Right.
Like, imagine somebody says, imagine this type of thing happens in Memphis. Just catastrophic event that we know is coming. And they say, you got to get out of here. What if you don't have a car?
Right.
And you don't have money? You know, there's a lot of people in Memphis right now who have no money and no car. Where are you going? How are you getting out of here?
Yeah.
So,
or what if you just don't move well?
Right. Well, there's that too, you know? Like, there's just a million. It's very easy for people like us to look at people who are now stuck in a terrible situation and go, come on, idiot. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Right? Because if Joe Birch came on Action News 5 tonight and said there's a catastrophic event coming to the Memphis area on Sunday, prepare accordingly, but you need to get out of here. I would go online and I would book 5 tickets to the beach. Not the one in Tampa, but you get, and I just take my family and we'd say we're going to have an incredible vacation and we're going to come home and we'll deal with whatever we got to deal with when we get back. It's very, because I'm lucky. I'm fortunate. I can do that. Not everybody can do that. And so there's people right now in a really bad situation, try to be in need of being rescued. And it's not always because they're stupid. Sometimes it is. There are stupid people who just say, you ain't gonna tell me to leave my home. You know, they're the same ones that never wanted to put on a mask or anything else. But there are also people who just couldn't leave. Just had no, like, it's a cool thing to say. You might as well, tell me to leave Tampa, tell me to go to the moon. You might as well say that either one of them. I can't do either one, all right? One's no easier for me than the other. And those are the people that are dealing with some nightmare situations right now. Just awful, just awful. And the most awful part of it is that this is not something like, well, remember Milton? Yeah, and there'll be another, there's another one coming soon. Like sometimes when you hear about these catastrophic events, I'm not trying to compare one tragedy to another, but like if you have a big earthquake in California, you just don't assume, well, another one's definitely coming next year, and another one's definitely coming next year. With these, you can always assume another one's on the way. This will never stop. I think we screwed up something.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
They tried to tell us, we didn't listen.
I guess not.
I guess not. Hey, hopefully everything works out, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I saw Taylor Swift made a $5 million donation.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, do we know? I guess it looks like the Memphis football game is going to be played on Saturday.
We'll see.
I haven't seen anything else to suggest otherwise.
We'll see. It just seems tacky. Be playing a football game, playing fight songs while people's houses are underwater.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll be within a mile of that stadium. Somebody's life has been turned upside down. I don't care.
Feels weird.
I won't be offended. I don't care. Go play football or don't play football. I probably won't see it anyway. But it seems a little tacky.
Yeah.
But I don't care. It seems a little tacky.
Yeah.
All right. Be back with GP's carryout.
This is my favorite one-hit wonder of all time. You can listen up, because here's a story about a little guy that lives in a blue world.
I was going to take this!
And all day and all night, and everything he sees is just blue. Like him, inside and out, I'm blue.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Is Ja Morant the player in the NBA with the most approved going into this season?
Ja Morant is one of the best players in the world. He's one of the best players in the world.
On the court, there is no question, barring injury, that what Ja Morant is.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
We got to talk about the best wrestling that we watched all week. You're up.
I think Brunson Reed and Braun Strowman put on a 5-star match in 60 seconds. I've never seen it happen before. Brunson Reed chunks the fan at Braun. I'm like, where the hell did that dude come from?
I got a tweet saying it's a good thing they're not in Memphis, or else that would have been one of the Memphis wrestling guys getting hurled.
Exactly.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. We're inside the Built Ford Tough studio. Let's wrap this up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
A whole bunch of stuff, but I feel like we should revisit previous conversation about the electric chair. It just sort of occurred to me. I've seen all sorts of people die on Twitter lately, any number of ways. I don't think I'd ever seen an electric chair video. I was wondering if they were out there. So I did a Twitter search for electric. I typed, this is exactly what I typed in: electric chair video. Buddy.
What'd you see?
There's a lot of stuff out there.
Really?
First thing I saw was a man. He was climbing electric equipment.
Oh, yeah. And just...
I mean, it was just like he touched it and it was just over.
Boom.
He just fell back. It was just like, night-night. All right? So don't do that. Then I found video of an actual electric chair, a working electric chair in China at an amusement park.
Okay.
And they put a mannequin in it, and then they turn it on and you can watch the mannequin suffer in the electric chair.
Okay.
To whatever extent that happens. So I'll send it to you if you want to see it. But this mannequin, even the mannequin doesn't seem to handle it so well. So I can't imagine how a human would. Doesn't look good. And then, this is the craziest. Then there's a video of a guy tied to a chair and they're just beating him with a stick. I don't even know how that got in there. I don't even know how this ended up here. But that's what I saw. Then, all right, this is wild. Next video comes up. There's these, they look like almost like a coffin.
Okay.
But like you walk into this thing and you stand up and they strap you in and you're there, right? And it says this will someday replace electric chairs. So I was like, okay, what is going on here? They will arrest you for a crime. This is the theory. This is wild stuff on Twitter. This is what I saw. So right now you get arrested for a crime. You get convicted of the crime. You get sentenced. You go to jail. You might spend the rest of your life in jail. You might be put on death row and get the electric chair, right? They say, here's where we could be headed with AI. You take these prisoners, they're sentenced, whatever they did, there's whatever. But rather than put them in jail for the rest of their life, you put them in these devices. They look like coffins standing up, and you hook them up to all these things, and they can, in a matter of minutes, reprogram your entire brain.
Whoa.
Give you all new memories, all new vivid memories. You'll wake up with a whole life that you believe you've lived. And whatever it is, the stuff inside your brain that makes you do bad things, they can fix that.
Wow.
Turn you right back into society.
That's pretty good.
I don't know if it's real.
It's definitely not real, but it sounds great.
It sounds like something. It's what I saw when I did a Twitter search for electric chair video.
Okay.
It popped up. This is going to replace electric chair someday. It seems more humane.
Of course.
I don't know if it works. I don't know if it'll work.
I mean, there's a lot of people out there. It'd be nice to be able to reprogram their brain.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah.
I could turn you in a list right now.
Yeah.
I could give you a list.
If we had that technology, by all means, but
I'd give you a list.
Skeptical.
I'm skeptical, but I'd give you a list right now. I'd give you a list right now of some brains I'd like to reprogram. Oh, I got
a list too.
We both have lists. Anyway, lethal injection, I think that's the best way to go. Electric chairs are bad. Yeah.
What's today's biggest game?
Man, I don't even know. This is a wild time. We have 2 American League playoff series.
Okay.
We have game 1 of the WNBA Finals.
Yeah.
And we have Thursday Night Football. I mean, there's a lot going on. Tonight's a good night.
It is a big sports night.
I'm going to turn up, I think.
Yeah. I'll be here.
I'm going to turn up. 49ers and Seahawks. Oh, yeah, then we got Grizzlies preseason. But I'm not going to make you pick Grizzlies preseason.
Yeah, please don't.
I can't do that to you.
That's insane.
I need you to pick Thursday Night Football.
Okay.
7:15 kickoff. We're on Prime Video tonight. It's the 2-3 49ers against the 3-2 Seahawks. Make me care, because I don't. See if you can make me care, because I don't.
I mean...
Say something that will make me care about this stupid football game, because I don't right now.
You can I mean, Lumen Field in Seattle, that's a pretty good atmosphere typically. I think it'll be...
I said, make me care about this football game, and you said Lumen Field is a good atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be wild. Like,
you
when
know what
turn
else will
the
be
TV,
wild?
yeah.
Kaufman Stadium will be wild.
I think they've, like, broken the record before for, like, the loudest stadium. So that'll be cool. You know, the Seahawks will find out if they're for real or not. 49ers are struggling. It's always injuries with them. Like, they always have injury issues. It seems like they're dealing with it again. So I think I'll take the 49ers.
Fine, what do I care? 49ers.
I think I'll take the 49ers.
Minus 3.5. That's the play. Bennett, you won last night again, thanks to the Mets. You're 153, 152, and 4. Negative 16.1 units. You're headed in the right direction after spending more than a year consistently heading the wrong direction.
I think I'll take the 49ers.
Minus 3.5. Yeah. That's the play. Kickoff 7:15, Amazon Prime.
What are we watching on TV?
All right. I need to apologize. Can I apologize? I'm a big believer. When you do something wrong, you should apologize.
Okay.
Do you subscribe to that?
Yes.
Do you like a good apology?
Sure. Who doesn't?
I like to give them. I also like to receive them. I wouldn't mind receiving one every once in a while, you know? I'm sorry.
What'd you do?
I disparaged Starting 5 on Netflix. Dropped yesterday.
Yeah.
You remember us talking about it?
I do.
I told you it was a new documentary, like a 10-part series on Netflix. It dropped yesterday, and it was spent last season following behind the scenes LeBron James, Jimmy Butler, Jason Tatum, Domantas Sabonis, and Anthony Edwards. And last night we were watching baseball at the house, of course. And then we all got into, I don't even know what happened, if I'm being completely honest with you. I just looked up and there's 4 people in my bed. Me and my wife and our 2 little guys. Like we were just having movie night. And I don't even know how it happened. I don't think I was involved in the discussion. But when I approached the bedroom, it was like it was movie night. And they were watching something on Netflix. And I said, if you want me to lay here, I can't.
Right.
I can't watch episode 6 of season 3 of some show I'm not watching.
Right.
All right. Can you do that?
Pick up in the middle?
I didn't. My wife will watch anything at any time without context. If I say, hey, I'm watching this show, will you watch it? She'll be like, yeah, whatever. Like, it's season 4, episode 8 of a show you've never heard of. Yeah, just turn it on. I don't care.
No.
She just is comfortable watching whatever is on in front of her, and I can't do it. I can't. I feel like I actually feel like I'm wasting time.
I had to pick that. I can't think of the name of it, but it was that show with Kristen Bell and
there you go. Right.
My other guy, Adam Brody. And Kara was watching it without me, and then I kind of like picked it up in the middle, and I was just playing on my phone. It was actually pretty good.
I can't. I feel like I'm wasting time. I'm like,
yeah, I got you. I don't like it. I fought it. I was like,
I can't spend an hour with my eyes on this show. I never watched any other episodes. I'm not going to watch another episode after this. I don't know who these people are. I don't know what's going on. If I just sit here and watch this, I'm wasting my life.
Yeah.
Not going to waste my life. All right? So I made this proclamation in front of my family last night. So I'm not going to waste my life sitting here watching whatever it is you nerds are watching. Can we do something else? And they said, sure. They were agreeable. For once. So I grabbed a remote, Apple remote, and I just go back to the Netflix homepage, and there it is. Starting 5. And somebody was like, what is that? And I said, oh, it's this new documentary. I said, y'all want to watch it? And I like expose, because my kids were there. I wouldn't have wanted, if it just me and my wife, I would not have turned this on. But the kids were there, and you know, they're NBA fans, and they know Anthony Edwards and LeBron James. They know all these people.
Yeah.
I said, let's turn it on. Let's just give it a go. I thought it was great.
Really?
I thought it was great.
Okay. Maybe I'll dive in.
Now I was on an emotional high after watching a Francisco Lindor grand slam. It's possible I was in a
anything would have been
It's possible
cool.
Anything would have been great. I just felt great and I was happy. So it's possible anything would have made me happy in that situation, right?
Yeah.
But we watched I fell asleep somewhere in episode 2. And I thought episode 1 was great. And episode 1 sort of closes with them introducing you for the first time for real to Anthony Edwards. And it's so clear they're like trying to set him up to, this is, you already know LeBron James. Here's the next face of the league. Let us show you Anthony Edwards. It's like, if there's a cliffhanger at the, think if you're watching a normal television show and there's a cliffhanger type thing. There's supposed to be this big thing at the end of the first episode that makes you want to watch the next one. Yeah. It is Anthony Edwards. They intentionally made it like that. I thought it was really good.
Okay.
I even went to look at Rotten Tomatoes and see if what I watched is lining up with what other people are thinking, and it wasn't. There's nothing really out there yet because this thing just dropped yesterday. I thought it was good. I will go back to it.
Okay.
Maybe it gets bad and boring at some point and I pull away from it, but through 1.5 episodes, it's like interesting content. In episode 1, it's a lot of, if you remember early last year, they had LeBron James on that minutes restriction.
Right.
And I think we all knew he was upset about it.
Yeah.
They've got the mics in the huddles. He's pissed. He's like cussing at the coaching staff.
Oh, wow.
And he's like, I'm already tired of this shit. He's like, you guys are treating me like I'm an old man, but I don't see it. I know what my birth certificate says. You're treating me in a way based off what my birth certificate says instead of what look at me. Do I look old? Do I look tired? Do I look like I can't be out there more than whatever minutes? And he's like, and then they got away from it really quick. But you get that. Mm-hmm. And then you get Jason Tatum talking about the only thing that matters here in Boston is a championship. I've done a lot of stuff. I ain't done that. And verbalizing like he's feeling real pressure. You got to remember, he's talking about this all before they won the championship. So there's some really compelling stuff there. I thought it was great.
Cool.
I apologize to Netflix and to LeBron James and everybody else involved. I was dismissive of your project because I've been disappointed by other sports projects done by Netflix. But what I watched last night was compelling documentary. I'm going to go back to it.
Cool.
I would encourage everybody else to as well.
What's the best thing we've read?
Well, over at CBSSports.com right now, Will Brinson's got his NFL Week 6 best bets up. So if you're getting ready for Thursday Night Football and you don't want to trust Bennett with those 49ers, you can go see what Will Brinson says. He's got all his best plays for the NFL schedule. You can find them right now. Homepage, CBSSports.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow's Friday. Is tomorrow Friday?
Tomorrow's Friday.
How about that?
Yep.
Food Truck Friday.
No.
Food truck somewhere.
I guess.
Food truck somewhere. I'll find it. I'll find one on Friday. You can't keep me from Food Truck Friday. I like it when you bring the trucks to me. But if I got to go find a truck, I'll find a truck. Jessica Benson in studio.
She'll be here.
Getting ready for a big weekend of WNBA Finals, Major League Baseball playoffs, college football, NFL. It's a good time to be alive, isn't it?
It is.
Isn't it a good time to be alive?
Yep.
I think it's a good time to be alive. We got a compelling documentary on Netflix and all sorts of awesome sports stuff headed into the weekend. It's a good time to be alive.
Yes, it is.
I'm glad I'm alive. Glad you're alive too, Bennett.
Thanks, man.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to enjoy mine. We'll meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.